later on. I wonder if that's going to cause them to lose some weight. I don't know. They're out there. It's going to be sunny. They're going to be working hard. We'll find out. A nationally known motivational speaker is using a tough love approach when it comes to losing weight. Not just that, but actually battling obesity. His message, if you're overweight, it's your own fault. And, as you might imagine, it's a message that doesn't sit well with a lot of people. I see people in my audience already like, geez, really? Steve Siebold is the author of the book Die Fat or Get Tough, 101 Differences in Thinking Between Fat People and Fit People. Please join me in welcoming Steve to the show.
Thank you. Thanks.
How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Boy, how'd you come up with that title, Steve?
Well, really, it's all about mental toughness for dieting. That's what it really comes down to. And I think it's time Americans grow up, get tough, lose the weight, and get healthy again.
So was your plan to just shock people into buying the book and then into kind of believing your strategies?
Well, shocking people out of self-delusion more than that. Not shocking in terms of marketing, but shocking in terms of getting at people out of this self-delusional idea that it's something else besides us that's making us fat.
We do like to do that, don't we?
It's easy to do. I did it myself when I got fat. I was 40 pounds overweight 6 years ago, and that's how I got into this, because I'm a mental toughness speaker for Fortune 500 sales teams. And so I thought what I do with them, I could do to lose my weight, which is what I did, and now I'm trying to help people around the world with the book.
So how did you gain your weight? I got to ask. There's a lot of us women who struggle with this every day. How did you gain your weight? I
just stopped paying attention, really. I just got sloppy. I travel all over the world, and literally, and I just got sloppy eating food in airports and hotels, and just like everyone else, stopped paying attention.
And did you wake up and think, geez, I can't be a speaker talking about being mentally tough and be overweight?
I really didn't. I kept looking in the mirror, looking at my stomach, going, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. And then it turns out it was that bad.
Yeah.
And I kept sucking in, going, no, it's pretty good. And the scale keeps going up, and I'm getting fatter, and I'm breathing hard, you know, through walking through airports. And I finally thought, you know what? I'm a mental toughness speaker. Like you said, I need to clean this up. So I did in 12 weeks and haven't gained a pound back since.
Wow. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about some of this fat versus fit thinking here, because what I like about your book, and I will say this, even
though it's controversial.
The graveyard on the back, I don't. It's a little creepy.
It's a little creepy. It is
a little creepy, Steve. But I think that, yeah, see, they're right here. Dun-dun-dun-dun. But what I do like is that you actually have critical thinking questions. So you're getting people to ask themselves questions. And like you said, you stop paying attention. You're helping people become aware.
Right.
The first thing that you say is that fat people eat for pleasure, because you kind of compare the thinking of fat people, which is a bit offensive, so I apologize, fat people versus people who are fit. And you say that their thinking is different. Fat people eat for pleasure, and that fit people eat to be healthy.
Right. We interviewed people for 5 years, fat people and fit people, and we use those terms to be very direct. That's what mental toughness is all about, because it cuts through self-delusion. And what we thought was, what we found was in the interviews was fit people, we'd say, what are you thinking right now? You're hungry, what are you thinking? Well, I'm thinking, how can I get the most energy out of this salmon and this salad and vitality and health as I possibly can? And then we asked the fat people, and I was one of those people in the beginning, and I said the same thing, I want the pizza. Why do you want the pizza? Because I like pizza, that's why. And there was no real motivation in terms of health. It was all about eating something that tastes good.
So are you saying that if you're a foodie, and you love food, because there are people who just love to eat, love the act, you can still be fit?
I think so. I love eating too. I think it's just you have to be more strategic.
All right. Okay. You also say that one of these ideas is that fat people are waiting to kind of be rescued from obesity, whereas fit people know that nobody's coming to the rescue. They've got to get it together.
Right. It's always something else. We're waiting for the drug industry to create a pill, which some of them have actually. There's a lot of money in people being fat.
It's a billion-dollar industry.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry around the world. I just returned from Europe, Australia. They're having the same problem, not as bad as us, but there's big money around the world in this, and that's why there's a lot of mystique and mystery and a veil sort of that they put over this, because companies do, because there's a lot of money in it. And people, I think, are waiting to be rescued by a diet, by a guru, by something else. And this book just simply says, study the differences in thinking between the fit and the fat, and start thinking like a fit person and watch what happens.
Interesting. You also say is that fat people believe that diets are fads, whereas fit people believe that diets are just a strategy.
Right. I think we've been programmed, especially in America, to think that, well, diets are fad. There's the cabbage diet and the soup diet.
The lemonade diet.
The lemonade diet, the cookie diet, all these things. And I think because there's a lot of money in that. There's billions of dollars. Again, people are profiting off this, and the public is buying it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's a capitalistic society. If they want to do that, it's certainly their right to do it. But it's not. We don't have to believe it.
But then you say that the diets are actually a strategy, whereas most health industries say diets, that's a bad word. Don't even think about it.
Oh, they're absolutely they're like budgets, and people don't like to follow budgets. I don't like to follow a budget either. But it's not, if I fail to follow my budget, it's not the budget's fault.
Right.
Right. It's just a strategy for financial success. A diet is a strategy for health success.
And this book, what do you consider this? How do you classify this?
Well, it's absolutely a strategy, but I think you get inside the minds of people who are fat and people who are fit, and you start adopting the way they think. This is what I did, and I learned a lot. I learned that I think more like a fat person than a fit person, but I studied these people. I adopted the way some of their beliefs and philosophies, not all of them. I'm not that great at it, but I'm getting better every day, and I study the book a lot, and I study their philosophies, and it makes a huge difference.
Well, our audience is going to get the opportunity to see if it does make a difference, because everyone is going home with a copy of this book, Die Fat or Get Tough. Stay away from the graveyard on the back. Steve Siebold, thank you very much for being here. I'm going to toss things out to my own Bill Henley. Hey, Bill.